Welcome to another edition of Smart Chat here on YouTube.com, and thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you for sharing my video, and if you haven't, then why don't you do so, please? I have another channel, all that information is found below. Do take a peek at it too. And I want to give you a Raw review for this past Raw, the go-home show for Survivor Series, Raw Country, if you will. And I wrote a few notes here, and I found myself doing Raw reviews. Don't count on it every week, but I wrote a few notes here. So, bear with me, and I'll make this painless for you guys, because to me, Raw was pretty painless. Watching Raw, the skeptic in you wanted to believe that this Raw was supposed to be special. But instead of a great go-home show for the Survivor Series, one of the biggest 4 pay-per-views of the year, we got the horrible, yes, I said a horrible in my opinion, Raw Country. And it saddens me that the WWE managed to not care at all about this pay-per-view. Survivor Series used to be one of my favorites, keywords used to be, and we opened up with Raw, the opening, with the Authority, and the Authority comes down with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, returning from their vacation. They speak about how last week's Raw proves how much the WWE needs them. They need Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Yawn, boring, very old. The Authority also promises Vicky and Brad Maddox will be dealt for their actions of last week. And as Stephanie, please spare us, is about ready to take the mic and ready to speak, down comes Randy Orton, furious that he got chokeslammed through the table last week by the Big Show. And Orton is yakking about how he's the face of the company and he's not treated with any respect. Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox then come down, and Brad Maddox blamed Vicky Guerrero for last week's Raw. Stephanie blames them both and says that they will be punished individually, and she books them for singles matchups, Brad Maddox versus Randy Orton, and Vicky Guerrero versus AJ Lee. And Orton and Maddox is the match that starts Raw Country. And pretty much in the match between Orton and Maddox, Maddox is handled by Orton after taking the early offensive, and the referee eventually calls the match as Orton is beating Orton's face up, as Orton is beating Maddox's face with a microphone, which doesn't make sense, honestly, since it's a no DQ match nonetheless. Let's fast forward to Raw. Big E Langston defeats Curtis Axel. What a bust Curtis Axel has been, even with his push and him getting Paul Heyman, who he no longer has Paul Heyman now at this point. I mean, you lose the title and you lose Randy, and you lose Paul Heyman in the same week. That's pretty bad. Backstage segment involving Orton and the Shield aligning was followed by the Divas musical chairs. Yes, Divas musical chairs, and this is what's supposed to sell us on the pay-per-view, folks. Let that sink in for a little bit. Anyway, Big Show defeated Ryberg despite falling victim to the shell shock. Pretty impressive by Ryberg. Orton then attempted to attack Show, but out of nowhere is met by a spear from the Big Show. Ladies and gentlemen, that was your build for the Survivor Series main event. Yeah, no one gives two craps. We then have the Real Americans continue their role by defeating Kofi Kingston and The Miz. Only after The Miz jumped off the apron when Kofi tried to tag him. Cue a Miz heel turn. Yay. Vicky Guerrero then attempts to get out of her match with AJ Lee by pretending to pass out backstage. But Steph still rolled Vicky out to the ring. AJ won a quick match as Vicky tapped out to the Black Widow. Vicky then fainted outside the ring. This, pretty much segment made fun of AJ Lee passing out in the house show last week in Europe. Nice going, WWE. Don't be bullies. Be a star, right? Yeah. Dolph Ziggler ended his losing streak by defeating Damian Sandow in a Broadway brawl, which was basically a hardcore match with instruments and guitars, and we've seen the strut, the famous strut of Jeff Jarrett by Dolph Ziggler. Nice little Dolph Ziggler. Nice little tribute there. John Cena, yeah, he was on the show. And Alberto Del No One Cares Rio got into a tussle. They were tussling each other's hair while Cena was cutting a promo, resulting in ADR retreating up the ramp. 3MB! Yes, what's wrong without 3MB? And I thought 3MB was going to face the Los Matadores because I thought that was the main event for the gazillion time. But I was wrong. But this time, the 3MB were the Rhinestone Cowboys. Another new gimmick for the week. Interesting to see what will happen next week, what gimmick they will play. But they lost to R-Truth and Xavier Woods. Triple H then and Steph tell Randy Orton that they will have confidence in him winning in the match against Big Show and that there will not be any interferences, meaning no Shield either. Now, honestly, if this whole storyline right here is just screaming of the Authority screwing Randy Orton over Sunday, because why? Triple H needs to win the title yet again. And the main event by far, not the main event, but the highlight of the match, of Raw rather, I'm just stumbling all over the place, for the fourth straight running week, probably, you guessed it, not the main event storyline. Instead, it's the CM Punk Daniel Bryan program with the Wyatts. A 12-man tag team match is booked with the Shields and Wyatts teaming up to face Bryan, Punk, Usos, and the Rhodes brothers. Kind of confusing if you ask me why this match wasn't booked at Survivor Series. And basically what happens is Punk secures the win with the GTS on Dean Ambrose for the 3 count. The Real Americans then come out and attack Bryan and Punk. But a returning Rey Mysterio, yes, he's back, helps the faces once again stand tall. Is Mysterio, assuming that he did not injure himself. Ha ha, hee hee, lol. The mystery participant for Sunday, question mark, question mark, question mark. Overall, there was really no build at all for the Survivor Series in this week's Raw, and the two most important titles in the WWE continuously being outshined by a bunch of small guys, in quotation. When will the authority and WWE start listening to this universe? We can only hope that the buy rate for the Survivor Series is horrible, and then maybe WWE will get the hint. WWE, Raw, Country, Go Home Show, Joke, Horrible, Snooze Fest. Hashtag I fell asleep halfway through Raw. So what are your thoughts on this past Raw? Let me know. Leave a comment. Thank you for watching again. And until next time, over and out. Adios. Ciao.